Lamine Yamal steps into McDonald's, looks left, sees Pulisic, looks right, sees Jimenez. Gives a nod to Ronaldinho in the corner with a FIFA World Cup meal. Ronaldinho sees Son in the booth. Son finds Beckham going for extra Big Mac sauce. He's got Davies at the table just behind him. Davies going for his collectible cup. But a steal by Henry, who pulls his own collectible cup. Collect one of 9 legendary cups with a FIFA World Cup meal.
At participating McDonald's for a limited time while supplies last. All rights reserved. 2026 McDonald's at FIFA World Cup 2026.
Good sleep is everything. That's why Ollie's Science Back Support is made with a blend of melatonin and L-theanine for both kiddos and grown-ups. So when your mind won't switch off, you've got something that can help. Your racing thoughts and restless nights won't stand a chance. Find Ollie sleep solutions for the whole family at ollie.com. That's OLLY.com.
Heat up your 4th of July at the Home Depot with our wide variety of grills under $300 and make every gathering one to remember. Give your outdoor space a glow up, whatever your budget is, with savings on seasonal plants starting at $5. With the grill fired up and your backyard set to perfection, you'll be able to invite friends and family over to kick off the party. Start celebrating with low prices guaranteed at the Home Depot. Prices may vary by store. Exclusions apply. See homedepot.com/price match for details.
This summer, Prime Video takes you back before Legally Blonde, before law school, and into the world of Elle Woods in high school. Set in 1995, this Gemini vegetarian knows exactly who she is until her family moves from Bel Air to Seattle. Packed with iconic fashion, 90s nostalgia, and a throwback soundtrack, Elle proves one thing. Law school was hard. High school was harder. From the world of Legally Blonde, watch Elle, a new original series only on Prime Video July 1st.
On any journey using Uber, it helps to know you're getting into the right car. PIN verification adds an extra step to make sure your ride is your ride. Before the trip begins, your app gives you a unique PIN. Just tell it to your driver, and they'll enter it in their app before the ride can start.
Hey, what's your PIN?
2538.
That way, you know you're in the right car taking the right trip, and your driver knows you're the right passenger. Make sure your ride is your ride with PIN verification from Uber. One more way Uber is putting safety at every turn. Learn more on the Uber app.
Hey, what's up, fam? And welcome back again to Recap Kickback presents HOTD, the Westeros Kickback. That's right. It's me, your host, Chappell, and we are back again to talk about Season 3 of House of the Dragon. This time, Season 3, Episode 2, which I believe is named Queen's Landing. A nice touch. And with me, per usual, to talk about this show and maybe to lace us up on some of the things that the book is different about. It's Mari Forth. Mari, welcome back.
Hello, we are back again. Another episode, really good episode, but I just can't help to think that this would have been a great episode to in season 2. Yeah. But what do I know? Just a whole Maester out here, but what do I know?
Well, yeah, we got Mari has some Maester questions, and so because of that, we called in a backup Maester, if you will, someone else who is familiar with the books and someone who has been on this podcast before to talk about A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms and Duncan Egg. We have got Mr. Robot himself, Taran Armstrong. Taran, welcome back.
Thank you. I love your intro.
Thank you.
It's so good.
Thank you.
But yes,
Taran, please.
I, the Maester, have manned this post with many rulers coming in and out. So just
exactly.
Please allow me to keep my head.
Yeah, no, you're good. We'll find somebody else to throw under the bus, I'm sure. Because heads are rolling here, and we have a lot to talk about in this episode. But first, Mari, hopefully the people at home are listening to this or watching this podcast on YouTube, youtube.com/@Recap Kickback, and they're doing it with their custom-made House of the Dragon lava lamp cup. What do you call these? Drip cups?
These are lava cups, and we can't do them because we have things in them because we use them. But they look cool when you put them upside down. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can shake it up a little bit, but I got my juice in here today, and so I have my cup. It has Team Green. Not a great episode for the Greens if you think they're gonna win anything here. It looks like maybe I'm Team Alicent. I don't know, but Mari's Team Black cups look really good today.
Team Black. Yes. Thank you to everyone who has bought some cups. We've been moving some cups. Thank you so much. People have been repping their set. Lots of Team Black. Chappell, let me just say, I haven't had any orders for Team Green because people want to be on the right side of history. But yes, if you want your very own House of the Dragon cups, you can go to maricraftstoomuch.bigcartel.com. Yes, that is my book Tumblr themed website. I love making custom tumblers. Book-based, but I can put anything on Tumblr. So if there's something on there that if there's something you don't see on there that you want, just reach out to me and we can make a cup together. So thank you to all of our listeners who have put in orders, who have reached out to me, and who have gone back and forth with me on custom cups. I also got a few Vampire Lestat orders, so I'm so excited to make those. So it's been real fun. Thank you to everybody for the support.
Yeah. We're going to try to get a cup made for every show we cover here on Recap Kickback and just keep these orders coming. Keep Mari working over there. All right. So, if you have been keeping up with our Vampire Lestat coverage or our interview with Vampire coverage, perfect time to get a cup for that too. And check out that podcast because it will drop later on this week. But let's get those niceties out the way and talk about this episode. First and foremost, we have Taran here. Taran, tell us, season 3, we're 2 episodes in. What is your feeling about House of Dragon, where we left off and kind of where we are right now?
I gotta say, I loved season 1. I really liked season 2 most of the way through. I think I was higher on it than most. I was certainly disappointed in the ending and sort of the direction that the ending seemed to be pointing in terms of like the secret rendezvous. But I still felt like I was higher because so many people were so mad. And I was like, and then 3 years passed. I don't even know at this point. And I got to say, but when it came back around, I was kind of like, nah, like I wasn't really into it. I watched both of these 2 episodes today for this podcast. I would have watched it, but I was late to it because I wasn't like super excited to watch it. That said, I watched that first episode and I was like, "Oh, this is fun. Yeah, I like this. This is good. I'm enjoying this." And I feel like I'm right back on that train of like, yeah, I feel like this is still a good show. I still really like this show. I think it was such a long gap, and let me tell you, it took me like 30 minutes of that first episode to get back into the swing of things before.
Thank you.
It just throws you back in. I was like, wait, where am I? Hold on.
They don't even say the people's names. That's my issue. It's like, stop, say their names. You have to introduce them like it's a new season. You gotta, it's been a minute. Taran, I'm a little surprised to hear that you took a little time off because, I think for me, my trepidation came after Game of Thrones. The way it ended, I was like, I don't know if I want to do the dragon thing again. I'm sorry. But honestly, the Duncan Egg is what really kept me going for this one. I thought that the Hedge Knight, the Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, that was done so well, as somebody who has not read the book, but I really enjoyed the show, that kind of gave me the motivation to come into this fired up.
See, I feel like it was the opposite for me. I was like, see, that's what you do when you do it well. That now I feel like my standards are higher. And to some degree they are. I still do have some issues in general with what I think this could have been. But there's also like not a whole lot else going on TV right now. Although Big Brother's about to start. So, I'm having fun with it. I enjoyed these.
Maybe for you.
These
That's good. Oh, well, I'm happy that you're back with us, Taran. Go ahead, Mari.
I will. Yeah, I just want to say, like James, my husband was the exact same way. He's like, we waited 2-3 years for this. I don't know. He was almost like, keep it. And HBO, they're like, oh, you're gonna watch it, so we don't care. But I would really love to see like the numbers on this. Like, I would really love to see if it's as high as it was for like the first 2 seasons, because there's no reason to prolong it this long. You know what I'm saying? Especially when they normally have the season wrapped like a year after, you know. So it was just it really stunted it really stunted like where we were in the story, our feelings for it. We talked about it last week. But at the very least, I thought this episode did a good job of really like pulling me back in. Because as we talked about last week, we knew, me and Taran, knew what was coming in this in that first episode, and with Jace's death. And waiting that 2 years kind of takes the wind out of the sail of the you know, the death itself. It was like, I was like, dang, that sucks. You know what I'm saying? But I think this episode is where I was like, ah, like I was right there with Rhaenyra. I was like, ah, like
My
I was,
baby.
you know, I know I had the mama tears going. So at least episode 2 is starting on a good trajectory in a sense of getting us immersed back into the world. But HBO, the production just did a horrible job of letting their fans just stew and wait and then try to thrust us back in.
Yeah, and potentially lose interest, you know, so you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But I did enjoy this episode a lot. You know, I am Team Green, you know, but I know how this is going to end. We've seen Game of Thrones. We know where this is going. But it is fun to be able to root for these sides. And then you have to remember that this is a war and that people are dying. And, you know, and so although we might win certain battles or lose certain battles, it's really the people that are getting lost a lot in the shuffle here, Mari, because like you told me last episode, I can't remember from last episode, like, man, I'm so glad my cup says Team Green. R.I.P. Jace. How's that going? Mari's like, we won that fight. I said, oh, that's crazy, because didn't look like it to me. So many casualties of war right now, Mari.
Yeah, exactly. And the opening with like showing Jace's body, but then kind of just showing another random body like float across the TV, it just hits home. It's like, yeah, we lost Jace, but look at all these other lives that were lost in this battle, and the true cost of war, and the true like the repercussions of the Battle of the Gullet. Like nobody wins when the family feuds, right?
Right.
So this war is literally just going to get bloodier and bloodier and bloodier until we get to the bloody conclusion. And I think this is the episode where it's like, yeah, we're about to turn up.
Right. Now, Taran, Rhaenyra is struggling with this. Obviously, her son is another son is dead. And this is the cost of her and this her pursuit of the throne. You know, the people are saying it shouldn't be a woman. Maybe it shouldn't be a woman. Maybe we should find a male heir. But she's like, nah, this is for me. But at some point throughout this episode, a couple points probably, she's thinking, damn, is it worth it? Is this really worth it all for me to sit on a throne of blades and to rule? You know, even though I think in a lot of ways she might feel like it's predestined, it looks like she's struggling with the cost of, you know, what she envisions as her future, but like at the price of everybody else that she loves.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, obviously, you know, this is deviated so far from the book, so there's going to be a lot of people who read the books who are like, this is not the character. And honestly, I'm not really sure it fully tracks with like the season 1 version of the character that we saw, but I do think it tracks with the season 2 version of the character that we saw. And in my head, it's kind of like there's the character from the books that they kind of started with, and then they started going, actually, screw you, George. We don't like you very much. We don't want to work with you. And kind of morphed Alicent and Rhaenyra into their own version of the character. And I think if you're going to watch the show, you just kind of have to accept that this is a different person. And so according to this version of that character, I can see where this is coming from, right? Like, instead of this like sort of fiery rage, it's just like, well, what do I even have? Like, what is the purpose of any of it at this point? What am I doing? And she's had doubts before, but now they're you know, tenfold. And I think that Daemon coming in and kind of being like, come on, you got to go do this. You can't let it be for nothing. is just sort of another example of kind of like the men in her life continuing to make decisions for her, try to make decisions for her, and her sort of like place in this world of men and kings and wars, and where she fits into it. And I think the end of the episode tries to answer that question, but I don't think we're quite there yet.
Oh yeah, I definitely got some thoughts about the end. Mari, this one night, the one that locked her in the throne room or whatever in her quarters and allowed Jace to go out on this suicide mission. He's like, take my head. I can't live. I was like, hey man, you got to live in this. You have to sit in this. You don't get to get your head chopped off and avoid all the blame. Just be like, it can't be quick and dirty for you. You got to be able to watch this woman fall to her knees and, you know, scream out in anguish at the pain that, you know, that essentially you caused. She's this kid's mom. If she wants to sacrifice herself for him, she should be allowed to. And that was taken from her. All agency was taken from her.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I've been grappling with, the TV portrayal of both Rhaenyra and Alicent, because for me as a book reader, I love the historical context of like basically these two women go to war and it's basically the beginning of the fall of the House Targaryen. You know what I'm saying? I love the portrayal of them being like two strong women questing for power and trying to seize it for themselves. I love that portrayal. I know me and Taran talked about this in the first season. I didn't like at the Green Council in the first season when I was like, I didn't necessarily like how Alicent was being more of a pawn as opposed to taking the reins. And it has just continued here into season 3. And we see it a lot in this episode. We talked about last week, Chappell, when she was locked into the room, about them taking her agency and stuff like that. And Chappell, you made a great argument. It's because like the true enemy is supposed to be the patriarchy in this show. And I get that, but I still kind of miss and want the portrayal of like a strong one, like two strong women butting heads. And I am thinking I'm grappling with the fact that I'm going to have to let that go, at least for right now. But I just don't like the thought of both Rhaenyra and Alicent essentially being pawns in this world, when I just really like them making the moves. All of that aside, this opening with Rhaenyra and Jace, as a mother, I was legit like tearing thug tears, because I was like, I just cannot imagine look, oh my God. The actor, what's Rhaenyra's actor's name again?
Is that Emma D'Arcy? Or no? Did I get that wrong?
Yeah. Yes, I believe so. They did amazing in that role. Like I was the moment that Rhaenyra comes around the corner and she basically has the conversation that she was going to have with Jace when he came back. You know what I'm saying? Like, what did you do? Why would you do, you know, it's the conversation that she was locked in her room thinking about, man, when he comes back, I am going to tear him a new one. And then he comes back and your child is dead. And it's that denial and then that realization, but still having that same conversation, and the conversation still be fitting in this scenario. And that broke me. I was like, it was so bad. Like I was so upset. And that whole opening moment just really, like, again, I wasn't mad that she showed emotion. I was actually very glad that she was able to show emotion, and really just ream into everybody. Like, y'all all fuck me up, man. F all y'all. But making I forget his name, because his name rhymes with the other guy's name. But her queen guard, being like, you gonna stay here. And if we need to sacrifice somebody, you might be the first to be sacrificed.
Right.
But yeah, and it did take a little nudging from Damon, but she did get up. I do, again, in the book, at this point it's like, grief is a funny thing. When Rhaenyra lost her first son, it seemed to have broken her, but when she lost her second one, it seemed to have given her a renewed sense of strength. So I think they tried to get to that, like Taran said, at the end of the episode. I was just struggling with the portrayal, as in how they wrote the character, but how the character was actually acted and portrayed was top notch.
Yeah. I think it's really interesting because the original story is a story of women, contending in a patriarchal society and making very active moves against each other a lot of the time. And it does feel like the show writers were like, we need to like make the patriarchy a stronger presence. And in doing so, they kind of stripped these primary protagonists of their agency in order to pit them against patriarchy more directly.
Right.
Which is theoretically like a feminist concept, but I think in the process they lost something really important about these characters, and I don't think that like strong women who are fighting wars and causing damage needs to be not against the patriarchy. They still grew up in the patriarchy. They are products of it in the book, and they are acting violently according to that programming. Whereas here, it's kind of like, where is this lack of agency even coming from with these women? Like, what in their, in their childhoods and growing up and their experiences gave them this kind of sensitivity and lack of agency to be doing these things, when everything that they've both been grown up to do has been to sort of like take charge and do these things. So that's where I feel that frustration, because I do think that they've lost something in translation there. But yeah, as I said, I think at this point it's like that's long gone. And so I'm kind of just trying to accept the characters as they are now.
Yeah, I don't know the characters y'all know. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all read the book, so y'all know these characters, these two women that are at war. And I know two women that are like, we would love to be at war, but we can't because all of this other stuff is in the way. So we got to do what we can do, right? And it's like Allison, like, nah, I don't want no parts of this. I'm gonna bring Rhaenyra in. We're gonna find peace. We're gonna let Rhaenyra do her thing, but she still has to deal with the patriarchy and the move she makes. I mean, there's even that scene where her and Daemon decide, okay, well, look, we're getting on these dragons. We're about to go see if Allison is telling the truth. We're about to go roll up on King's Landing. And people are like, my queen, please, are you sure they're looking at Daemon still? He's like, hey, she said she's good. She ain't stutter. Like, that's kind of the vibe, is that
said,
even though she's right. He's like, I think she was clear about her statement here. It's very much like, hey, she's a woman. Let me step in and like try to reason with her. And then you got Daemon there to be like, she said what she said. And it shouldn't take him, right? Because she's the king, right? She's in charge. So they should just get out of the way. But that's not how they've been acting toward her. And so, yeah, we've been seeing like a gradual shift where, she's slowly started to get a little bit more of that just like absolute power that she should have, because it hasn't been the case that since, for about a season or so now at this point. Mari, I asked you last episode about Corlys, someone else who we could have lost, but he's back. And look, his family's together. Yay.
Well,
yay.
Missing one.
At what cost?
Missing a granddaughter there who had a bit of a wild episode as well.
Oh yeah, we definitely need to talk about her. But Corlys has he survived, which is cool. But his stuff did not. He's like, I have nothing else except my name to give you, Alan, and very proud of you, but this is it. And so it's a very cool moment for Corlys. It's very humanizing, seeing him have to reconcile his feelings for his bastards and and for like the loss that he suffered here. Because although they won, it doesn't really feel like it. I mean, Baela lost her betrothed, right? Or betrothed? betrothed.
Betrothed, yeah.
Yeah, that. Yeah.
Is it wrong that my thought running through most of that scene was, does gold burn?
Right. Right. Is it just
maybe they just stole it before they burned it down, and that's why it's gone.
Yeah, exactly.
But he wouldn't know. What do you?
I did like the scene. I liked the House of Valerian, however they say it, and kind of like a weird reunion, and it's like a airing of the grievances. I must say it was a very Black thing to do.
Team Black,
kind of like
Team Black. I would order a different cup.
Yeah, Team Black people,
right?
Because it was very much like laughing at a funeral. Like we're at the funeral and we like, damn, we done lost everybody. But we good. I mean, we'll figure it out. Shit. Like, yeah, that's exactly what it felt like. It felt like they were just like, well, we'll figure it out. And I mean, they needed this moment. A lot of context in this scene, and a lot of things that'll, of course, as the series goes on, will make more sense. But I did something about just taking a minute in wartime and just being like, y'all, we really like, this is happening, and people are gone. And Bayla being like, I'm sick of losing people. Like, somebody on TikTok said Bayla lost her grandma, her mom, her cousin, husband, like her great granddaddy, and like her uncle. It was so funny. I was like, dang, they right.
Yeah, but she's probably not having as bad a day as this one right here. We got to talk about it. Taran, you already kind of flagged it up. Bayla, right? Raina, got it. She's having an awful day. This lady's going through.
This was maybe my least favorite scene of the episode. It was so strange. And this is genuinely, I know this is not from the books, but like I don't even remember exactly how this iteration of this sequence of events, because it wasn't even the same sequence, but either way, it's just like, it made no sense to me character wise that she had, like, she went on a joyride on the dragon and all of a sudden is like, I'm now an enemy of the state and I fully accept my role as enemy of the state and I'm no longer going to go back to my family and I'm just going to hide out here. Like, wait, what?
Yeah.
None of it made sense.
Is it that she feels guilty about Jace? She's like, oh, this is my fault. I'm in trouble. I need to hide here in the Vale. And they're like, yeah, but like, no, don't bring this mess to us. We didn't ask for this.
My crime to you, person that has been nothing but rude to me.
Nothing but rude. That woman and was still rude. This lady's like, hey, look, you can let your dragon stay here because what am I really gonna do to stop it? But make no mistake, I bet not see your ass no more.
Which could have happened regardless. Why did you even need to have the conversation?
Right. So Mari, what'd you take from this scene with Raina? Kind of, she looked confused for sure, but how do you feel?
Confusion. Because like Lady Jane has been prickly this whole time, which again is kind of like, okay, like what, that's her family too. Like, we know this, right? Like, if anybody's forgotten, like Lady Jane Eyre is related to Rhaenyra's mom. So like that's Rhaenyra's blood right there too. And then on top of that, she has a political reason to back Rhaenyra because she is a woman ruling in the Vale. If they start to say that a woman can't sit on the Iron Throne and can't inherit the throne, they could come for her lordship and her nobleship. So why are you so mad? I mean, I get it. I do remember Rhaenyra did pull the bait and switch on her and said, "You want a dragon? Here's a puppy dragon." But still, like, I don't know why she's so mad. And like Taran said, even if we're taking it out of the book, taking the book out of this, because this is whole cloth, all made up. This is just so far from it. it just does not make sense. Like, Rhaena, just go home, say my bad. I tried to help.
Yeah, the dude that locked her in a room got to keep his head. Like, surely
be all right.
the like niece is gonna be fine.
Yes, niece.
Exactly. She was like, I didn't know this dragon had the black forces. I didn't realize it.
Right.
And they just lost a dragon, so they would probably want to add her dragon to their strength. So it just doesn't make sense to me, because so now she's just gonna be chilling in the Vale right now until
very clearly they want her to fulfill a different role from the books, and so they've like just mashed her through. Like, she's a triangle and they just mashed her through like a square hole. They're like, it's like, okay.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of these changes can probably just be chalked up to, they're like, we have this massive ensemble cast, and for a good portions of the books, the people aren't doing anything. So we kind of need them to be doing things. Like, and that's what I feel like with Alicent's whole, we'll talk about that. The bastards just sitting on the Isle of Faces for a little bit. It's like, we have these people, so we have to figure out a way to get them some screen time. And it's very interesting what they're deciding to do.
I liked her ultimate pitch, which was, do you want the dragon or not? And she's like, okay, fine. Like, I do appreciate that. But yeah, it's tough to watch Rhaena struggle because she's had a pretty bad day. All things considered, she was kidnapped by that dragon. She can say she went on a joyride all she wanted, but she was not in charge. I think in the first episode, the dragon was bringing her food, like, here, have some food. And she's like, oh, thank you, sir. Like, she's lucky it didn't eat her. So I'm interested to see where she goes, especially knowing that she's like not a character that's directly from the book. Like, obviously she's in the book, but this isn't her characterization. And so I like that we're all kind of finding out where this is going together. We haven't talked about Daemon much at all yet. And he's having a great day, celebrating the death of these Lannisters. I saw lions on spikes. That's cool. But then he gets the word from Sir Simon Strong. Got some wine coming, but he also has a note that says, hey, we lost Jace, come on home, because we got things to do. I was really happy with the way Daemon is portrayed here. I was not a Daemon guy throughout. When he was at Harrenhal, I was like, y'all, this y'all king, really? Because he tripping. But here, he immediately like, damn, not Jace. I gotta go, y'all. I'll see y'all later. I gotta go be with my queen. And I really like that he goes by her side and he's able to pull her out of that grief. Taran, you were mentioning that earlier, that she's down and out, but he's the one who kind of pokes and prods her to get her up and back on mission.
Yeah, and this is the perfect role for Daemon. I was a big critic of the Harrenhal arc. I thought that it just really didn't go anywhere, and I think this like episode kind of proves it, because what even happened at Harrenhal that is worth like, other than the facts
the vision
of it, which is that he got the army and they did the thing, all of that trippy stuff, like, where did it go? Not really anywhere in particular. He's back doing what he was basically doing before, and he's perfect in this role because he is that dangerously comforting like presence, where he is kind of guiding Rhaenyra into the direction we want her to go as the audience, but not necessarily the one that she wants to go in. And so he kind of clearly is in some ways representative of the like allure of patriarchy. He is fully representative. He is the monarch that she is trying to be at the end of the episode. And he is guiding her in that direction, for good or ill, right? But when you're watching, you're like, for good, yeah, like go, yeah, go. They're badass, like go, yeah, get her to go sack the town, and that's the perfect role for him, because you want to see the appeal while understanding how dangerous he is, and this is the perfect version of that. Not when he's tripping balls.
Yeah, Mari, when at first it felt like Daemon was using her, like he's like, I can't be in charge, but you could be the figurehead and I'll just, be the one who gets all the credit and, gets to make all the decisions and just kind of push her out because like, sure, you're the queen. Sure. Yep. But now it does feel like having the vision and the whole thing at Harrenhal and, trying to sleep with his mom, all that kind of stuff really did lead him into where he's fully supportive of the vision here, this goal that Rhaenyra has. And, he's her fist. Like he even says it, like we have to do that because, a lot of people are not giving her the respect that she deserves. And so they're going to be moving in lockstep at this point. And like almost like physically too, they're like walking on the same step. He opens the door, she walks in, I think this is the partnership people have been waiting on for the last 2 seasons.
Yeah. It's almost like he's been grooming her or something.
Almost, Like he started at a very early age.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, this was a great episode for Daemon. This was a great episode for the both of them. Like you said, as they're like slinking along in the Red Keep and Daemon takes down 5 guys. I was like, oh, look at that. She just popped a lady boner. Look, me too. Because he was looking fine shit. That's fine shit, what the kids would say. He was just taking out all of those guards and just the 2 of them moving through the Red Keep was great. And then not only that, but when they get to the part where they're in the Red Keep, why did she yell at the throne like that? Bring me Aegon. Like, girl, who you talking to? But anyways, they're like, Aegon not there.
He's not coming. He's not coming.
But he not coming. But the moment that Daemon really helps her is when, of course, Sir Otto comes in and he's like, you got to do it. This is the moment you become queen. She whispers to him, I don't know if I can do it, and we know that as the audience, but he takes out his sword and hands it to her. And from the people looking outward, to them, it looks like she, just asked for the sword as opposed to like hesitating. He's like, you can't hesitate. You got to do it. And I like, again, that silent support. So he's like, no, girl. He's like, I'm handing you the sword. Go do the thing. She misses, but who cares? It got it done. The head came off.
And that was on purpose. I didn't like the guy.
I gotta stop you. I gotta stop you both. This is a PR nightmare. Lady, look, if you go swing the sword, you gotta look like you mean it. Mari, it felt like the equivalent of her pulling the trigger. It felt like her pulling the trigger on a gun and then dropping the gun because of the recoil. Like, oh, saying, lady, you got to do it. This takes us back to what is that? Game of Thrones episode 1, where it's is it Ned Stark who's like, hey, yeah, you gotta swing, you gotta be able to do this.
The one who serves the sentence has to wield the sword.
Yeah, exactly. And so Daemon is kind of like, I mean, I'll do it for you, but she needs to do it in this moment. I just don't think this is great PR because, again, if people are questioning whether or not this woman has it in her, all these people in here watching her struggle to cut that, they're like, are you sure?
Chappell, it's easy. First of all, those are all people that were like imprisoned by the other regime anyway, right? They're already big fans.
They're clapping.
All you need to do, like Daemon, give them like, you guys know how to tell this story,
you know what to tell.
I saw one swing, right, guys? We all saw one swing.
And then Daemon had to show them.
Yeah, he did. Like, this is what happened. Mark,
I can watch the book. Lop heads off all day.
I need to know, in the book, she get it in one go, or is it like it's also kind of choppy?
I don't think they remark on it.
Like they just choppy, but I don't even know if she swung it. The sword in the book is.
They literally just say Sir Otto is just like he said. Sir Otto was the first to be beheaded.
Right. That sounds like the PR team, like, oh yeah, and then his head came off. Don't worry about how it happened. It's like, no, I saw her struggle. We're there now. Let's talk about it. They get to King's Landing. They're thinking that they might have some struggles. Let's just say they get through all of that. We'll come back to how. But the big shocker here is that we have a surprise for Daemon because Aegon is gone, Aemond is gone, but we've been keeping somebody locked up just in case you ever came back. It's Otto Hightower. I am so sad that Otto Hightower is gone like this because he is a great character for TV. All his little speeches and stuff like that. Season 1 Otto was, just like the Golden State Warriors that one year. You know, it's just like he couldn't miss. You know, like he was doing so much. And I really like, listen, cut his head off. Fine, whatever. He's a traitor. Get him again. Like literally get him twice because it's gonna take that much for you to chop his head off. But at that point, we gotta really talk about how we lost such a dynamic character, and we haven't seen Otto in days. He didn't even get no speech or nothing. Like Mari, I just feel like, come on, man. I don't know. I just feel like you lost such a dynamic character, and you didn't give him really a strong like build up to this. I feel like you could have made this this episode and this death have a lot more gravity to it. To me,
I mean, he does say, "Just get it over with."
See?
the resignation, because the moment that he was removed from the hand, he saw this coming. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like he saw this coming. He saw that without him as the brains behind the operation, the Greens were really not going anywhere. And the fact that he's in the cell, they said, courtesy of Sir Larys. So Larys Strong, here's a gift for you. Don't come after us, and I understand that, it's kind of jarring for Sir Otto to just be gone like this, especially since I believe we haven't seen him since about halfway through the second season, really. So, but I like this because the way the book kind of goes, there are surprises. Like, people think that one thing is about to happen, and then there's another strategic maneuver. And a lot of that stuff has been nerfed this season because they have to over-explain what the next move is. So not having something over-explained to the audience and just seeing him come out, realize the gravity of the situation, it kind of harkens back to, Ned losing his head in episode 9. It's something you just... season 1, episode 9, Game of Thrones, you just don't see it coming, and then it happens, and you're like, I got it,
Yeah,
I think like most things in these 2 episodes, it would have been a lot stronger if they had been episode 9 and 10 of season 2. So, I think that's the thing that kind of like looms over all of these events. But in terms of like the outcome here, I love it. And I especially love it if it's the end of season 2, because you've seen him in that season. And it still feels random while still feeling connected to his previous appearances. But it's the perfect combination of like his own family's incompetence that he's unable to properly counteract, and the sort of like rising power of the next generation of schemer with Larys Strong, kind of like his downfall. And I think that, ultimately this ending also just feels very fitting for the man who had such grand ambitions, to have been locked in a cell by his own sort of squad, served up on a platter to somebody who opened the gates. His own daughter opened the gates for her to come in and then fail to remove his head in one stroke. Like it's story wise, it fits very well, and that's probably because the story wise it does follow the similar beats from the books.
Yeah. I love Otto as a character. R.I.P. the homie. But it was time, right? Because I think as Otto's there, then you can think the Greens gonna fight back. The Greens got something else. Now it's like, all right, the Greens got Aegon doing God knows what, Daemon doing God knows what. It's like, all right, and then Alicent, she's basically surrendered. So at this point, like that's over with. So yeah, they kind of get Otto out of the way, but I am sad that we didn't get more time with him. I think because the last time we saw him, that was when he was getting smuggled off with Larys, and that was the fake finale. And then like it's been 4 episodes since then. Now, oh look, it's Otto, and so maybe just for me, I would have liked to see a little bit more of Otto Hightower. I want to go back to Daemon and talk about some of his interactions with some of the other women in this episode. Mari, Daemon and the witch. She like, hey, before you go, I've done a lot of work for you, man. What if I got hair and hair? He's like, girl, you ain't even got no name. You ain't got no man.
Just laugh in her face. Why don't you? Like,
that's never gone wrong in a story.
Right.
Exactly. Like Daemon, for all of the good that Daemon did in this episode, he also did not do a lot of tactful things, like treating Alice Rivers, the witch of Harrenhal, like that, treating the bastards like he could not stop hitting what's his name, Ulf.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ulf needed
all the way back.
Yeah, Ulf needed to get hit a little bit, but you're right, Mari. The way he's handling his people, his crew, is not great. You know, like you're yelling at Ulf and Hugh the Hammer while you're also giving them 2 dragons to ride. You know, now what if they decide to do something freaky? You know, like what if they decide to do a little extra? Then what you gonna do? You know, so I just feel like he's giving a lot of people a lot of reasons to turn on him, including Alice Rivers. You know, with her saying, "I've done my work for the Queen. I would just like Harrenhal. This is my place. Y'all really don't care about Harrenhal at all. Look at it. Look around. Like, I just want this for me." Yeah, and he's like, I'll talk to the Queen and see, you know, blah. And it's another conversation about the patriarchy. She's the one who says, so like, because I ain't got no name and I ain't got no man and I ain't got no title, I can't have anything. You know, like, sir, you can't see the parallel between the wife that you have, your queen, who, I mean, like, because if you ran this by Rhaenyra, if Alice Rivers made this argument to Rhaenyra, I think this works. I think she's like, okay, sure, take it, you know, but because it's Daemon, it's laughable.
Now, to be fair here to Daemon, she is running a bit of a scam on him, no? Like, this is what
Absolutely.
people, like, they go up on, you know, they give you, like, a rose, and then they're like, that will be $20, please. Like, oh, wait, what? You didn't name your price beforehand. I didn't ask for your help. Like, what are we doing here? You want the castle? The whole thing?
He's like, I already gave it to somebody. It's not even mine to give no more. Yeah, she's a witch. She's doing witch stuff. I just feel like you should be a little bit more cautious of people who call themselves witches, because you never know how it's going to go back to bite you. We saw his experience in Harrenhal, and I blame her partly. You know, it's haunted, but she's there too, and so, you know, I didn't think this was great for him. Yeah. And we'll get another glimpse of her before the episode is over. Mari, Daemon's also kind of beefing with this with Alicent's Rhaenyra's new advisor. Would you call her the White Worm?
White Worm, Missaria. Yeah, his former, you know, lover slash
paramour.
Fiance,
right? They never proposed, right? It was always
he wasn't about to do that.
He pretended she was pregnant at one point, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. They're not getting along. Yeah, they're having a battle for Rhaenyra's ear.
Yeah, exactly. And it's really interesting because again, I forget that Daemon has not been at Dragonstone for so long. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he's like, when I left you, we were in a cell. You were in a cell. How'd you get out?
Yeah. She's like, yeah, but huh? Yeah.
Yeah. And I wonder, do you guys think that he picked up on the vibe of like her and Rhaenyra?
I don't know.
Like tension.
I don't remember.
I know that they had to. I don't know if he picked up on it, you know, because I think he's looking at her as somebody who is moving off of ambition, right? Like, she is trying to get closer to power. That's her thing. And he's kind of like, of course you are. Like, you done wormed your way through these moments, and now you think you next to the queen, but she gonna pick me over you. Meanwhile, she kind of like, I don't know about that. I don't know if she's gonna pick you over me, you know. And then we see kind of their 2 different tactics when talking to her. You know, Daemon's like, okay, come on, queen, we're about to go do this thing together. Bye, worm. And she's like, oh, before you go, don't forget who was loyal to you, my queen. And you know, like the sparring that they're doing, just for her, like social sparring that they're doing, just for, you know, influence over her. I don't really know if he's picking up on the other implications of their relationship, Mari.
I was just wondering because that thing where he's like, oh, I see you picked up a new advisor, and she was like, I don't need to ask your permission. And that look between them, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
I know. It's like I don't know. I don't know.
Do you think the relationship between the White Worm and Rhaenyra is going to like lean toward romance, Taran, or is this her looking for like, almost like political and social gain?
Until Mari asked that question, I'd completely forgotten it happened. And then I was like, oh yeah, there's some tension there.
Heavy
Do
petty.
I think it's gonna go anywhere? I mean, didn't they also do that with Danny at one point? Like,
they did. There was a moment where I was like, Danny, girl, okay, I see you. It gets tense.
Mysteria helps Rhaenyra feel powerful, right? That she's been there, and she's been there in all of those moments where Rhaenyra feels the least powerful, and she helps her feel powerful in different ways, different aspects. Using her body as well, some of them wiles sometimes, but like it's that switch. Like Rhaenyra is so submissive with Daemon, and then she can be the dominant one in the relationship with Mysteria. Rhaenyra is just living every bisexual's dream, and
she's just out here just thugging it. Yeah, they fighting over her. She's just living her best life. The other thing I wanted to flag up when it comes, I think you talked about as well, the bastards. Ulf and Hugh have left their station, and Damon's not okay with that. He's like, I thought y'all was supposed to be waiting on Vhagar to show up. He's like, but he didn't show up. I waited 2 days. Is that not? That wasn't enough.
I'm with the bastards on this one.
Me too.
I mean, like surely everyone's been at a job where you're told to do a thing, and then you end up like, wait, what? This isn't what am I supposed to do? But that's not. This is not what they said. But should I go back and ask, or is that annoying? Should I stay here? Shit. And then it's like, no matter what you do, they're gonna be mad at you because what they thought was gonna happen doesn't happen.
No, he was mad.
So you just pretend to do the work.
Right. You're like, I did a thing, kind of.
I've tried both ways, Mari. It doesn't. If you stay there and do nothing, they come. Why didn't you say something? I thought this. I thought I just. And then if you go and ask, like, oh, what? You can't figure it out.
Follow simple instructions.
There's no winning.
No, this was bad for them. Daemon gets a good hate into Ulf for sure. He kind of, he's dealing with Hugh, but he's not happy with either of them because they're using their brains. They're not just following the instructions, Mari. They were supposed to just wait until Vhagar showed up, which is already a big ask. That's Vhagar. He's like, wait here for a couple days. I did. I literally waited 2 days for a killing machine to show up, and it didn't come. So I took that as a sign from one of the gods. Hey, I gotta go. It's time to move.
Literally.
Daemon wouldn't have been happy until they were those like soldiers that like lived the rest of their lives on those islands, just like waiting forever. Like they would have gotten old.
And it's stupid because why are you having 2 dragons sit out of the Battle of the Gullet? You know what I'm saying? Like, could have used them.
They should have been the ones getting those, spears chucked at.
Yeah, I mean, especially look, if you got to sacrifice somebody, Ulf's not a bad sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? Just saying, like, rather lose Ulf than Jace. So something to think about for sure. We got a question in our email, recapkickback@gmail.com from Laura. It says, hey, so I just had a question. Season 3, episode 1, when the bastards are waiting on Vhagar, who and what was that person with the antlers that they saw before they saw the witch? Mari, who them people?
Who them people? Outside of Harrenhal, there's this island. I think we kind of talked about it. And it's called the Isle of Faces. It's like a long-standing kind of like shrine to the first men, who are kind of the akin of like the children of the forest that we saw in Game of Thrones. And so the Isle of Faces and the first men have this. The Isle of Faces is like mystical. It's like spiritual. It normally has like lots of weirwoods on it still. Again, that connection to the Game of Thrones, and that creature person that we see are the Green Men. The Green Men inhabit the Isle of Faces, and again, they're like very old mythical creatures that, while there are dragons in the world, magic still exists here. So that is their island, that is their space. And often travelers come to the space. They say that there might be an oracle somewhere on there, if I remember correctly. I can't remember at what time period, but it's just a very mystical, magical place, very spiritual place. And they saw a green man, which is a spiritual man creature.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, if you have any questions and you want to submit your question, of course, you can leave it in our YouTube comments, or you can email us, recapkickback@gmail.com. Mari, we gotta talk about Larys Strong and Aegon. They're beefing a little bit because Larys gave away Aegon's identity last episode, which has gotten them basically arrested and taken toward Rhaenyra, but they are stopped because the Triarchy is running wild. And now they're able to get free. What did you think about this scene where Aegon makes basically a shank out of, or shiv? I don't know what the medieval term of it is, but he figures out a way to fashion a stabby, pointy thing, and basically free himself from captivity.
Classic road trip shenanigans. These two hooligans. I mean, for a guy that was bedridden, like basically up until he left, it's pretty decent job of stabbing there.
How much time has passed?
Yeah,
but who knows? It seems like it's been a couple days.
It's got to be more than that. It's got to be, because how long did it take them to get the letter to Daemon? You know, he found out relatively quickly about Jason's death.
That's true. Yeah.
You know, it's like, y'all ain't got postal service. Did you send an owl? You know, like, how did this happen?
Raven,
a raven, whatever the case may be. You know, I don't know how fast they move.
Yeah, I would get thrown over the bridge trying to answer that question. How fast the raven goes. Yeah.
This is I got you.
Thank you.
This is like Game of Thrones season like 6, 7, and 8, like time movement. You know what I'm saying? It's like people are moving around the board and time is not as like well projected as like the first few seasons, where we know that it's like they're trucking along these maps, it's years later, you know, type thing. But it should, I believe, Taran, I was going to say, correct me if I'm wrong, but if you remember, doesn't the whole entire dance, like the really, really bloody war parts, it's only like 2 years, I believe. Like, I think we talked about it. It's like the actual battles and bloodiness is 2 years. Meanwhile, it took us 20 years to get here.
I mean, which makes sense. I mean, you know, especially when you have dragons, it's like war's only going to last so long till one side wins. But yeah, I think in the show, it's very much they're following the logic of how long does it take? Whatever it needs to take to make the scene cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. How long is a year even? You know, it's like we're not using our typical calendar anyway. You know what I'm saying? So,
but wait, wouldn't it take months for Daemon to get from wherever he was to the thing? No, because he flies on the dragon, dummy. Like, oh yeah. But what about? Doesn't it take a while? Like, Alicent was gone a few days, so like, when is then? Who cares? That's what I think. That's how they feel. Who cares?
The timeline has been so confusing. We talked about it a little bit last week, but like, again, me and James are sitting here like, where are we at in this? The timeline is so confusing because some storylines are progressed. Like there are, we always say there's touchstones in the history. Like there's historical cornerstones of stuff that has to happen to get to like the end of the Dance of the Dragon, and some storylines are like being presented past a touchstone type thing, while some are still behind it. So it just is very confusing.
So Larys wants to go to Duskendale, but Aegon says we're going to Rook's Rest, where Kristen Cole and Alicent's people are located. So he's going to go try to find a little backup. But we got to talk about Alicent and what she has going on, because this is the culmination of her big plan. She is like, hey, I'm trying to get Rhaenyra on that throne, but she's got, you know, some hiccups to deal with. Aegon is gone, and he was her big bargaining chip. She also doesn't really want her name attached to some of the things going on as she's pushing this agenda. When she goes and talks to the gold cloaks in their locker room, Mari, and she's like, "Yeah, Queen Helena said." I said, "Girl, what?" She's like, "Yeah, Queen Helena has a plan. She talked to Rhaenyra, but you just gotta follow it, right?" And for a split second, I thought they might have had her back. They did not, and things came crashing down around her. She almost got SA'd, Mari.
It was so kind of ridiculous to me because in the kind of like behind the scenes thing, they were like, Alicent is doing all of this to protect Queen Helena. But I'm like, but she's using her as a pawn just as she herself was once used as a pawn. So it was kind of weird. I was like, that doesn't curl over all the way for me. But as she's making her moves, Sir Jasper, which is so funny because half of this time, James was like, "Who is that?" I was like, "It's the Master of Laws. Who is that? Jasper?" Like I was
random guy we're supposed to hate so that we feel good when his head comes off in this episode is what I named him.
It worked. I hated him.
Exactly, because I was like, I was, oh my God. As soon as he closed that door, I was like, oh my God, why are we on this bullshit? Like, I was so mad because last week, Chappell, we talked about it. Like, poor Alicent just keeps these situations of people just wanting to like basically use her for her body and stuff like that. And it was like, what was your thought process here, sir? Like, what was your thought? Did you think this all the way through? So you're just gonna essay the Dowager Queen, the Queen Mother, and then what was gonna happen? Like, what was your thoughts there? Like, it was so stupid, and I hated the scene so much because, Game of Thrones, always we're always talking about like useless sex scenes, assault scenes in it, and I was just like, what is the point of this? Luckily Grandmaster Orwell, who is just having the worst few weeks like just ever, comes in time. And Taran, every time I see him, I'm just like, he can't wait to get to that diary and write this down.
You got a mess.
Yeah. I'm so with you, Mari. This just felt so gratuitous in a way that like I'm not even necessarily like usually the first person to point that out. Like, I'm not particularly sensitive to it, but it really felt like it did not need to be here at all. That scene literally would have been, I think in many ways, like more of like an existential threat to Alicent if he had just come in to threaten to reveal her plan. And it's like, well, what does she do about that? There's nothing. Like, is she going to try to physically stop him? Like but instead they just went to this like weird trope that you're right. Like, makes no sense. Like, what is the plan there? It's like just so out of nowhere, and it's all in support of, I guess, this sort of, again, like overall theme that I thought came across pretty well enough when her son kissed her. Like, like I feel like we just had that, and that was a much more effective way of communicating that idea than this random interaction, which is just supposed to make, Orwell come out as a bit of a hero, and then you really hate this guy, so when he gets beheaded, you're like, yeah, screw him after all, right? And it's just like it did not need. It was so unnecessary. I really didn't like it.
Yeah, this is bad. I didn't like none of this at all. I was just kind of like, I hope she gets out of this somehow, right? Because the whole time you're thinking, she was already warned, hey, well, you need to stay. The block is hot. Don't go too far away from the security system. She's like, I got it. I got things to do. She's trying to make her moves. He comes in, and for some reason, finding out that she is committing treason, really just decided to make him want to do some wild stuff. And it's like, well, that doesn't make, okay, your motivation here, it's crazy. She's saved by Orwell, and then he is taken away to, be later on beheaded.
His last words, tell my wife.
tell my wife, it's like, sir, please, we gonna tell your wife exactly what we saw you doing. Actually, how about that? So yeah, it was a tough day. But Alicent has so many things she's got to juggle. She got to get Helena out of the way because Helena cannot be chilling in the castle when Rhaenyra and Daemon show up, because if they do, we're gonna see exactly what happened with Otto, where it's like, okay, Aegon's not here, somebody gotta die, or he's still in charge, and we can't allow it to be Helena, and we don't want it to be Alicent. She definitely don't want it to be her, so she's taken off as well. She eventually finds her way back in, but right after Otto is beheaded, and there is this like exchange of looks, right, where she looks down, she's like processing, okay, my dad's dead, he's also treasonous, so that's to be expected. Rhaenyra did this. I told her to basically do this, not to kill my dad, but this was the goal, right? She was supposed to come in here and kill somebody. I was okay with it being Aegon. Maybe if I squint, I'm okay with it being my dad. I feel like she was just going through such a range of emotion. And then she looks up and sees Rhaenyra on the throne, and Rhaenyra doesn't look satisfied. She also kind of looks disheveled by what happened, at least to me, Mari. I didn't think she looked like, yeah, I did it, I killed your daddy, and I'll kill the next one too. Like, it just felt like she was going through, and they both were in that same exact moment.
Yeah, it looked like they tried to make it seem like she was struggling. Then she saw Alicent. She was like, oh,
pull it together.
This don't look great. But then she was like, but now I gotta stand 10 toes down. Like, that's what it felt like. And so I think this is supposed to be the visual mark of like, this is supposed to be maybe the turning point for Rhaenyra. So we will see, next week. Yes, the hardening. Yeah. We will see next week how this affects Rhaenyra.
And Alicent too, right?
Yeah, well, and here's like another issue that I had with like the length of time from the previous season, and also I guess in a way like the divergence, because Alicent comes in, sees Otto, and I was like, how did she feel about Otto last? I can't remember.
Right.
Was she super mad, or did she still love him? I don't remember. And so like I was just trying to remember how she might be feeling, and then we cut to Rhaenyra, and it was a good shot of Rhaenyra at the end. It mimics the ending of season 1 in many ways, which I thought was good for what was supposed to be the ending of season 2. But yeah, it did lose a little impact, I think, again because of that. But yeah, the shot lingering on Rhaenyra I really, really enjoyed, and I think that like the hesitancy, the steps, walking through the blood, the bloody footprints, the shot of her sitting down on the throne reflected in Otto's blood was all really cool stuff, and again, like sort of very different than how I think it was envisioned in the book, but in a way that like I think worked for this character really well and was really compelling to me in this moment. So I really enjoyed this whole sequence.
Yeah, they put this plan together as a team. There's an Alicent plan. Rhaenyra acted it out. They got to the end result that they wanted, right? Not so much we didn't really get our Aegon, sacrifice, but for all intents and purposes, this is a success for her. She wanted to give the power up, let Rhaenyra have what she wants, and so now we get to see what Rhaenyra looks like when she's in charge. But I wonder now what the relationship is going to be between the two of them, right? Because I think when we talk about what the book was depicting, these two women at war. Now it seems like, okay, we're on the same page, but you still killed my dad, and I don't know if there's lingering feelings because of that. And then on the flip side, Rhaenyra's lost a lot of people too. So are they going to be able to come together and work like as a tandem? Is Alicent also going to be one of the people vying for social influence over Rhaenyra? Or is she really going to just be like, all right, you got to take off and leave and let everything just be? I really don't know. But Alicent's other son has gone to Harrenhal, and very excited to talk about Daemon and Aemond and the way that they and Aemond as the way that they kind of parallel each other, because we saw Daemon at Harrenhal and how that looked, and then we saw Aemond pull up at Harrenhal almost exactly the same, like on the dragon. What's up? Let's fight. But he just goes to start killing people, and by the end of the scene, he gets stabbed. He gets poked up a little bit, falls out, and he's begging this Alice Rivers, the witch, the same witch that told Daemon to never come back, is now looking at Aemon like, do I help you or not? So I'm excited, Mari, to see what this relationship is going to be, assuming he's alive. I have to assume he didn't just go out like this because it'd be kind of weak.
Yeah, exactly. Like the parallels first between the arrivals of Harrenhal, like Aemon just being so young and bloodthirsty, and poor Sir Simon didn't deserve that. He did not deserve that at all. But just killing everybody, but then getting stabbed. And not only was it a parallel from Daemon's original taking of Harrenhal, to me, I thought it was also a parallel of how Daemon and Rhaenyra take the Red Keep, because Daemon fought 5 dudes and didn't get a scratch on him. You know what I'm saying? And again, it's that Aemon wanting to be Daemon, but just falling short, every time. And Aemon, he's hard-headed. He's gonna have to learn a lesson, and getting poked up in your kidney. I think that's gonna be a lesson. That's your lesson right there.
Yeah. He's just like Daemon Jr. He too tried to have sex with his mom. So Taran, I don't know what this means for him now that it looks like the other deviation between him and Daemon is going to be that he is actually probably going to form some type of a relationship with Alice Rivers, whereas Daemon is kind of just laughed in her face. So, I don't know if it's in the book or not to get into any spoilers, but could you see these two working together in the future?
I mean, I don't see like Aemon being any wiser than Daemon when in dealing with her, but I do think that because he is more impressionable, and in a way more easily manipulated and vulnerable, she may see this as an opportunity to get what she wants out of somebody that's a little more pliable. And so that may actually help them mesh a little better than she did with Daemon.
Yeah, I can see a world, Mari, where she's like, hey, I really want Harrenhal. So what can I do to help you out? And then now he's back, but he's empowered now by whatever witchcraft, and sorcery that she has at her disposal.
Yeah, I mean, because like Daemon said, she helped him. Did she?
Right.
Has she? Like we said, like she seems like she wants to just help herself. So why not see what you can get out of saving the Prince Regent's life, right?
Right. So, Mari, is there anything else from the episode that you want to flag up before we get into the book corner and talk about, kind of setting the stage for where we would be in the book in relationship to where we are currently?
No, well, let me look at my notes. I think we covered everything. But yeah, this is a great episode, and I'm so glad we all got to talk about it. Yeah, I'm good.
Yes. Okay, Taran, anything you want to flag up as well before we let Mari remind us about the things that happened in this book you read so long ago?
No, I mean, honestly, I've talked about my quibbles, but I think I was more pessimistic coming into this because I often feel like, despite the big battle scenes being technically well done, I often find myself kind of like, oh, but this makes no sense. And like frustrated by the logistics of a lot of them. And I think that for the most part, actually, the battle scenes worked out pretty well. Did it make the most sense for Rhaenyra and Daemon to walk by themselves through the halls of King's Landing? Maybe not. But it was fine for like visually what it was. And apart from that, like a lot of this stuff did really click with me, and I really loved. This wasn't this episode, but I loved the sea battle and how they sort of played that out. So I was pleasantly surprised by these episodes, and I think my expectations weren't too high, and that made me enjoy them a little more.
I really enjoyed it as well. I think mostly because I felt like the big tension for me is the Alicent Rhaenyra plan going to work? Are they actually going to be able to pull this off? Or is there going to be a misconnection that further, fuels this fight between the two of them, where it's like every time they try to bring it together, they just could never quite, a son dies here, a dad dies here.
Misunderstanding.
Yeah, like, damn it. I was trying to tell you, I was trying to help you. Oh my God. Like, I thought we were going to do that again. But now that we've kind of got that out the way, I'm now excited to see now what happens, right? Now Rhaenyra is on the throne. The Gold Cloaks had her back. The High Towers have kneeled and people are pledging fealty and all that kind of stuff. Otto is dead. Cool. Now what? And so I'm very excited to see what comes next. And we're very excited to talk about that next week. But so if you are listening to this and you are only listening to our episode recaps, this is your time to go ahead and tap out. But if you want to hear more about the books and what they have going on at this point in the books, this is the time to stick around for Mari's Book Corner. Maester Mari is back. Library is open, Mari. Tell everybody, where do you want to start when it comes to the book and the things that happened in this episode?
Plan B is a backup birth control option that's there for you when things don't go according to plan. It specifically works after unprotected sex and before pregnancy occurs by temporarily delaying ovulation. Plan B is available nationwide at all major retailers and through delivery apps like DoorDash. No ID, prescription, or age requirement. It's the #1 OBGYN recommended brand of emergency contraception, and it won't impact your future fertility. That's freedom to be. Use as directed.
If we knew more about our sleep, what would we do differently? Would we go to bed at a consistent time or take steps to reduce interruptions to our sleep? With Sleep Score, Apple Watch measures your bedtime consistency, interruptions, and sleep duration. Then, every morning it combines these factors into an easy-to-understand score from 1 to 100. So you'll know how to take the quality of your sleep from okay to very high. Know your sleep score with Apple Watch. iPhone 11 or later required.
Do you hear that? Sounds like breakfast is ready. Because Quaker's coming in hot with morning nutrition. 100% whole grain oats and a good source of fiber to fuel the rhythm of your morning and kickstart your day. And that sounds absolutely delicious. Fuel to start whatever's next. Quaker, official sponsor of FIFA World Cup 26.
This episode is brought to you by Redfin. You're listening to a podcast, which means you're probably multitasking. Maybe even scrolling home listings on Redfin, saving homes without expecting to get them. But Redfin isn't just built for endless browsing. It's built to help you find and own a home. With agents who close twice as many deals, when you find the one, you've got a real shot at getting it. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. You know those friends who support your preference for podcasts over music on road trips? That's the energy State Farm brings to insurance. With over 19,000 local agents, they help you find the coverage that fits your needs, so you can spend less time worrying about insurance and more time enjoying the ride. Download the State Farm app or go online at statefarm.com. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Chronic migraine is 15 or more headache days a month, each lasting 4 hours or more.
Botox, onabotulinum toxin A, prevents headaches in adults with chronic migraine before they start. It's not for those with 14 or fewer headache days a month. It prevents on average 8 to 9 headache days a month versus 6 to 7 for placebo.
Prescription Botox is injected by your doctor. Effects of Botox may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away, as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness can be signs of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Side effects may include allergic reactions, neck and injection site pain, fatigue, and headache. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Don't receive Botox if there's a skin infection. Tell your doctor your medical history, muscle or nerve conditions, including ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome, and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects.
Why wait? Ask your doctor, visit BotoxChronicMigraine.com, or call 1-800-44-BOTOX to learn more.
Hey, I just Venmo'd you for rent.
Nice. Now I can instantly spend it whether I'm checking out online with Venmo or using a Venmo debit card.
Say more.
More exactly. Because the more you do with Venmo, the more you get. Like earning up to 5% cash back with Venmo Stash on a bundle of brands.
So, order more pizza.
The math demands it.
Get the Venmo debit card.
Venmo Stash bundle terms and exclusions apply. See terms at venmo.me/stash terms. Venmo checkout not available at all merchants. Venmo MasterCard is issued by the Bancorp Bank N.A.
Experience a membership that backs your business journey with American Express Business Platinum. Earn 5 times membership rewards points on flights and prepaid hotels booked on AmexTravel.com. Plus, apply to find out your welcome offer, which could be as high as 300,000 membership rewards points. American Express Business Platinum. There's nothing like it. Terms apply. Welcome offers vary, and you may not be eligible for an offer. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-platinum.
Summer routines live or die by how easy they are. And honestly, if something takes too much effort, I'm out. That's why Groons is my go-to. It's my one daily pack of gummies covering my greens, vitamins, and minerals. Plus, it has 6 grams of prebiotic fiber, which is more than 2 cups of broccoli. No mixing powders, no giant pills, no hassle. I just rip open the pack and I'm done. They taste good and they make it easy to stay on top of my health, even when life gets busy. Save up to 52% with the code PODCAST at Groons.co. That's code PODCAST at GRUNS.co.
Well, mostly again, we're going to set the scene to remind everybody where everybody is, talk about maybe some of the differing motivations as to their movements and stuff like that. So, of course, main plot point, Rhaenyra is now in Queen's Landing. She has taken over Queen's Landing. Her, Daemon, in the show, it is the 2 bastards. We have Ulf and Hugh Hammer are all with her. And in the show, again, it's her and Alicent working together. In the books, it wasn't that. Alicent, like, basically the show gave Alicent this covert mission to unlock the gates. One, I think it's so she'll have something to do. Like, literally, they just, like, she needs something to do. But I guess it's also to show that like all of that was done, but it was done under the cloak of darkness. It was done like by emissaries. You know what I'm saying? Like, it kind of like last season when we saw Mysaria send her notes to the handmaiden that was within the Red Keep, and how they were able to send the food. That's how it really happened. You know what I'm saying? Rhaenyra and Daemon, they come to take the city, and Alicent and the Greens think, oh, we finna fight, and everybody like, no, we not. The gold cloaks are like, no, we laying all this down, because they had already had people that had infiltrated. So they're giving Alicent some of the credit for this, and it still just again doesn't curl all the way over for me, because her motivation for it show wise just still doesn't make sense. Because you did all this, you said you'd open the Red Keep, you were trying to keep you, Helena, and Princess Jaehaera safe, but y'all didn't have an exit strategy. You out there in the street, like, trying to leave too. Like, it doesn't make sense to me.
When I saw them in the street with hoods in broad daylight,
and a baby,
I was like, excuse me, this was the grand plan.
I was not shocked when they got caught. You know, like, it was not a shock at all when they get dragged in. I said, yeah, about time. You're right about that. They didn't really have a way out. I don't know. Maybe it just took her too long. You know, had she been able to get the
seems
people,
like the most important part of the plan was you getting out. If you mess up a little bit with Rhaenyra and she gets killed, oh well.
Like, yeah, I ain't here. Yeah.
Good. Like, the whole point is that you get away.
Yeah.
Made absolutely no sense to me. But they're there. So now we're gonna see the reaction and the fallout from all of that. So we see the Valerians, because you know it's Valerians. Yes. Right now they're at the Fune. They are coping with the loss of Driftmark. So it'll be interesting to see how these characters are incorporated for the in the next coming episodes. Because I have a feeling that a lot of the action is gonna be in King's Landing, right? Like, Rhaenyra, the Queen has landed, so a lot of the action might be taking away from where they're at. So it was kind of good just to see them come together, decompress maybe and wait for further instructions. Like Damon said, don't think. Wait for instructions.
Mari, we have
mhm.
a comment in our YouTube section from Satoria Tomberlin 5317, first of her name, says in all caps, "Where are the children? In the books, Jace goes to the gullet to save his little brother Viserys. Last we saw them, they were sailing to Pentos sans Rhaena. Also, the true religion of Westeros in the book and the show is misogyny, so everyone's treatment of Rhaenyra is not surprising." Mari, where are the kids?
Yeah, I don't. That's what I'm saying. I don't understand what they're doing. But so, of course, and that's another thing too, because Prince Joffrey is supposed to still be in the Vale, I believe, while Prince Aegon and then Prince Viserys, the two kids from Rhaenyra and Daemon, they're the ones that are sent off to Pentos because Daemon, their father, has the connection in Pentos, and then Joffrey is supposed to stay in the Vale with his tiny dragon to protect Lady Arryn. So even the show hasn't, there are 3 kids left, y'all. There are 3 male children left. I have to bullhorn that. Rhaenyra has 3 male children left. The show, I don't think they're keeping count. And it's right. Our YouTube comment is true because at the end of last season, we saw Aegon and Viserys leave, and Rhaena was supposed to go with them. Remember, Lady Jane was like, "Oh, she thought they was going with them." Rhaena peels off to go get Sheep Stealer, and the 2 boys are supposed to be sent out to Pentos. They are supposed to have bad timing where their boat is supposed to meet the fleet coming from the what was it? The bitch fish.
The bitch fish.
Yeah, the bitch fish. What's her name? Laura. I just said her name 8 times last episode, but the one that Alan killed, she's supposed to take them hostage. So the fact that didn't happen, and there's some more stuff that's supposed to happen that I'm gonna give them grace as to when it does happen, but their ship was supposed to meet her ship. So I don't know where they're gonna stick that. I don't know. Taran?
I mentioned this to you guys before, but I read the book more than 6 years ago at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of the having read it so long ago and my memory being a sieve, the show deviating so far, I'm so lost in where things are supposed to be and go. I know the broad strokes, but yeah, stuff like where the children are and how they're going to do certain things without the children being where they are right now are very confusing to me.
Yeah,
exactly.
We had another YouTube comment that said, "Being a Song of Ice and Fire fan means bitching about a Song of Ice and Fire most of the time." Another great episode in Mari's corner. So it seems like the other book readers are kind of aligned, where it's like a part of enjoying this show is knowing I got to complain about how different it is and the things that they're doing in the book or then, in the TV show.
Yeah. So, like we teed up, Aemond is now in Harrenhal. He is injured with the bastard Alice Rivers. So we'll see what his next move is. That's pretty much true to the book, but like in the book, he kind of meets nobody at Harrenhal because the armies kind of slip around him. And yeah, he's thinking he's going in for a battle and all this stuff, but Daemon, his forces, they've gone to King's Landing to take King's Landing, because another thing, the if you want to call it the sacking of King's Landing, depending on what team you're on, or Rhaenyra's triumphant return to King's Landing, is a surprise. Again, it's a surprise to the actual people of King's Landing. So they're just like, they just see dragons circling and they like, oh, so it's all a surprise and it's all an outmaneuver. It kind of reminds me of what they did with like Tyrion trying to take over Casterly Rock in the season 7, I believe, and they go to take over Casterly Rock and it like the garrison that they thought was there is not there, and that's essentially what was supposed to happen. But he's there. Let's see if Aemon gets stuck in Harrenhal for 4 episodes. Like, if he really wants to be like his
that's how you gotta do it.
Great uncle. Yeah. So Aegon, which was one of the bigger deviations, Aegon leaving before Rhaenyra taking King's Landing affected so much in the TV show. Like everybody, where's Aegon? Oh, now I'm the prince. Now I got to do that. Like it affected so much in the TV show, when in the books they think he's there until again Rhaenyra rolls up and says, "Where's Aegon?" And that's when everybody's like, "Oh snap, where is Aegon?" And so them messing with that timing, it's weird. I don't know why. Like I do know why, because they used it as different characters' motivations, but to me it just doesn't. I didn't like it. I didn't think they needed to do that.
I have a question. So in the show, we saw Aegon separate and say, all right, I'm going to Kristen Cole because, that's the team that's going to have my back. But this group, this faction, Aegon, Kristen Cole, all of them, they don't know about Alicent's plan still, right? Are they finding out about this in the real time? Like, are they going to, well, not are they, like, don't tell me. But to me, I'm understanding this, that Alicent did this behind their backs. I don't remember her running this past her people. And so now Aegon, Kristen Cole, all those people, they still think that Aegon is in charge, in whatever way. They still think the Greens are in charge. But it looks like they're going to find out in a very weird way that, no, that is not the case. Is that how it was in the book? I mean, it couldn't have been, right?
Well, again, what they know in the book is that for all the things that they thought that they had did to make the City Watch loyal to them and the people within the Red Keep loyal to them was for naught, because there were still infiltrations. Like they had removed all the 7 captains that they thought were loyal to Daemon and the Gold Cloaks, but the moment that the dragons started circling, the people who were still loyal said nah and started cutting the, like, slitting the throats of the Gold Cloaks who were for Aegon. So it's like the whole plot itself is unknown to the Green. So Aegon, Kristen Cole, Aemon, none of them are gonna know that Alicent was behind it, because maybe as of right now they don't even know yet that Rhaenyra took King's Landing. So Aegon is trying to reunite with Kristen Cole in the Riverlands. Larys makes a great suggestion. Let's go to Duskendale. Duskendale is a pretty big city, pretty walled off, secure. It's still currently under the Greens' command, so that seems like that would be a great choice. Rook's Rest is the battle where Aegon fell, and Aegon says he wants to go to Rook's Rest to meet up with Kristen Cole, but I would also wonder if he has a second agenda, because as far as we know, Sunfire is still there, type thing. So Aegon's journey here, it'll be interesting because in the book, Aegon he kind of just pops up places.
Yeah, he just kind of goes AWOL for a while, and then it's like, and now I'm here.
It's funny y'all mentioned that. Taran, in this episode, he says, I'm going to Rook's Rest. But we also saw Kristen Cole said, we're going to Harrenhal. So is he going to get there and anybody going to even be there?
I guess you would assume that 2 people would be able to catch up to a big army. but the two people we're looking at aren't the quickest. So I don't know.
Yeah, both of them are a little they got some wear and tear, the two of them. And so yeah, I can imagine that it might take a little while for them to make it over there. Mari, they get there and there's nobody at Rook's Rest, I'm gonna scream.
Exactly. So where what they do with Aegon is gonna be very interesting, because if they spell it out, if they start to spell his movements out, it's gonna kind of not be fun, to be quite honest, because like Karen says, he pops up places and you're like, what? Like it's like it's kind of a like fun moments in the book. So if we're just like, if we're doing the whole Game of Thrones thing, it's very Arya and the Hound of like, we're watching you trudge along. I don't know if that's something I'm gonna really like, but it's fine for as of right now. Something I kind of want to tee up that we saw in the first episode that we'll probably see more in the third episode is, so King's Landing has fallen. Sir Otto's head is off his shoulders. Alicent and Helena are
Prisoners.
You'd assume.
Yeah.
Gotta be prisoners.
So there's a big high tower host that we saw in episode 1, led by we said his name in episode 1. It's Alicent's cousin.
Ormond, yes. And we got a sneak peek of Daron. Here's another child, Alicent's third son, her final youngest son, Daron, who canonically is what? Oh, him and Jace were the same age. So canonically, he was like 15 or 16. His dragon, Tessarion, a beautiful blue dragon. We see a glimpse of his dragon, and we saw the host, the Hightower host. So it seems like we have Ormond Hightower, we have Daron and Tessarion. They are gearing up for some sort of battle. We'll see that soon. We'll see where they maneuver in the next few episodes. Other than that, are there any other characters we forgot to place on the map? I can't think of anybody from the show we haven't touched on.
Currently, Rhaena is in the Vale, apparently. Yeah. And we don't know what they're finna do with her, because like we said in the last week's book corner, she is meshed with a character named Nettles, who the character Nettles herself is kind of like mysterious in a way. So I said on the book corner, I don't necessarily mind them comparing their two characters, which I did feel like at the end of episode 1. Here at episode 2, I'm just confusion because of, again, that scene we saw with her and Lady Jane. But we'll just have to see where that unfolds, because they're just making it up as they go. So Rhaena is in the Vale with YN Sheepstiller, and we'll see how that goes.
They don't know that there was Rhaena that was on Sheepstiller.
That's what I realized, and I again
saw her, but
he did.
I think like show canon, Jace saw her, but he died. I don't think her sister saw her.
Yeah,
that's what it was. Yeah.
Because what is it? Rhaenyra's telling the story to Daemon. Yeah, and he's like, "Hey, there's another dragon out there." Daemon's like, "How did they get another dragon?" I was like, "It's your dragon. This is your people." It's crazy. Yeah, I didn't even catch that the first time around. That the only witness that saw that it was her is now at the bottom of the gullet.
Right. And that's what she even said, like, nobody saw me or whatever. So, eventually, if Rhaenyra tells Daemon to do something, Daemon's going to go do it. So I'm pretty sure once they lock that down, he'll probably go investigate.
Okay. Anything else from the book corner?
No, Taran. Yeah, no.
Well, I think there's maybe the sense that like there's a thing that was supposed to happen at the end of this episode that didn't happen. Something that I thought would be like part of the finale of season 2, which is like when Rhaenyra first sits on the throne.
Oh yeah.
Like obviously, like lore is that like true kings don't get cut by the swords. And so like it's a big thing. It's a big change that they seemingly have made, which is that like when Rhaenyra takes King's Landing and sits on the throne, she like nicks her hand or whatever. And it's like, oh shit. Like, and that's a big deal, right? If for a lot of reasons. And so they don't have it here. And I think it's because the Rhaenyra in the book takes King's Landing in a rage. Like she storms the city in revenge for Jace's death, and she's full of what seems like conviction and confidence, and just like, this is my fiery fury, and then sits on the throne, and like having that seed of doubt planted in theoretically everyone's mind is like, oh. Whereas in this version, in this character, to have her cut her hand when she says it would have been redundant at this point, because like every piece of how she was acting to that point was that. It was like,
uncertainty.
like, I don't want to do with it. Like slowly walking up to the throne. Like, so I sort of get why they might have cut that moment. I think a lot of people love that moment because it's such you don't expect it, because you kind of expect what seems like the true meant to be ruler to not have a moment of like superstitious rejection like that. But instead they sort of did it the reverse way, where she's full of doubts and reluctance, and then sits on the throne and sort of comes into her own and again, has this hardening. I think I did a pretty good job.
Does that look like a face of doubt, Taran, to you?
Yes.
I thought it was interesting.
I'm still holding out hope, Taran, that it is in the next episode. I mean, because we didn't see her get up from the chair, right? We just saw her sit down.
I think what I could see is if the idea is that now that she's lopped a head off and she's staring Alicent down and she's hardening and she's becoming more like the Rhaenyra we know from the book, that her time spent in King's Landing may eventually lead to, at some point, cutting herself on the throne, whether it's right now or later, to make us come to that realization maybe a little bit later in the story. That's possible.
I truly can't see them not putting that in there, especially since it would be such a good tie-in to her daddy, Viserys cutting his finger in the first season. Like, it feels like something that they really should add in there. So I'm just holding out hope that they eventually do that.
Well,
it is for us, but book readers, it's a big part.
Well, that popped in my mind when Taran said it, because of course I didn't know that was a thing. But I immediately went back to Viserys sitting there getting cut up, you know. And so if it's a thing where if Viserys wasn't a true ruler, how is she? You know, she would have inherited it from him correctly, and so he can't pass down something that wasn't meant for him. So
I think I think it's less so like you are destined to rule, or like, are you like a good?
A good ruler.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So Viserys was bad. So yeah, he deserved to get cut a few times. 1,000 cuts.
It's not the right to the throne. It's the, can you handle the power of the throne?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess we shall see. Okay, well, that was fun. Love a book corner, because I learned so much about what y'all already know, but it also kind of gives me some extra context to the show, and I hope that our listeners are enjoying the book corner as well. Let us know in the YouTube comments, youtube.com/@recapkickback, or you can leave comments now on Spotify as well. If you listen to us on Spotify, you can subscribe to us on all podcast platforms. recapkickback.com/subscribe can help you do that, and make sure you tune in next week for our next recap episode of House of the Dragon. That would be season 3, episode 3. But until then, Taran, thank you so much for joining us. It's been so much fun.
Thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. What do you have going on? I mean, like the people who know you, they know what's coming for you. But yeah, you got the throne of your own that you got to sit on, or at least a walking pad.
Yeah. I can walk all day long. Find me on Patreon. I'm watching a bunch of stuff, including right now Love Island.
Your favorite show?
And all kinds of nonsense going on there. So check out the Patreon. There's tons of content there.
And
Big Brother's coming.
There it is. Yeah. If you are familiar with Taran, if you're here from the House of the Dragon world and you like Big Brother, Taran is the number one resource for Big Brother information during the summertime, and he will be covering it every day.
I've basically read all the books of Big Brother many times, and I actually remember most of it.
Yeah, he's a bit of a maester in that world as well. Yeah.
I was about to say, I was like, you wrote the book.
Did you read all the books or did you write the book? Yeah. Yeah.
You got your Grand Maester Orwell on.
Yes, exactly.
Grand Maester Orwell's accounts of these events are used as a resource in the book. So it's kind of really funny that like that poor man just
he be getting through. When he was like, look, I know you want to kill me, but I got something better for you. I said, all right, Orwell, I respect it. And I definitely respect Taran spending his time with us here on recapkickback.com. Mari, what do you got going on in the world until the next time we hear from you, which will be very soon?
Well, over on Crime Scene, me and Sarah Carradine, we bring you true crime on Tuesdays. We just did a very fun episode dropping this week. It's a true crime roundup. So what we did is, like, me and Sarah, we picked the main topic, right? We have the main topic. We normally have a guest, but we also consume a lot of just other true crime media. Oftentimes we use it as recommendations after a main topic. This time we're like, we actually watched a whole bunch of stuff from June in the past few months that we just didn't get to because there was like hotter properties to talk about. So we kind of dipped into our tastemakers bag and just sat there and talked about all different types of true crime media that we had been consuming, and we call it the True Crime Roundup. It's a great podcast if you need some recommendations on some true crime stuff to watch or listen to. We did podcast reviews on there, just like quick, very conversational, just, hey, we watched this. Did you watch this? I watched this. Our thoughts on it. Or I watched something that Sarah didn't watch and I'm explaining it to her. So just like real chill, kind of like real chill than our normal setup. And it was just me and Sarah. So it was a lot of fun. So you can go to crimescenepod.com. That's crime, SEEN pod.com in order to subscribe wherever you get your podcast. My light setup said it is time to go. Other than that, also the cups, maricraftstoomuch.bigcartel.com. Get your cups, get your team green, team black cups. I also do like the different houses. I made James a House Martell cup that I want to show you guys eventually. But yeah, so thank you so much for the support.
All right. And then here on Recap Kickback, we have more House of the Dragon coverage coming. Interview with the Vampire Lestat coverage as well, coming very soon. This most recent episode should drop tomorrow. So be there for that. And then, other things going on. We have our Rock of Love recap starting this week, Mari. Chantel will be experiencing Rock of Love live for the first time. Rock of Love, of all the shows. And so Sundays, we talk about the Flavor of Love Cinematic Universe live on YouTube. Check that out. Join the chat, join the conversation, and tune in. And if you're late to that, go catch up on all of the other Flavor of Love content we did because we've been doing this for about a year straight, and it's a lot of content out there. And so thank you for joining us for Recap Kickback. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for liking the video. If you haven't already liked the video, go in and do that, and then tune in next week. But that's all for Taran, for Mari, and for myself. You ain't got to go home, but we will be happy to talk to you next time on House of the Dragon. Talk to you next time. Peace.
I've been trapped behind isolated like it's North Korea. Smaller city with some bigger dreams. The wall is cracked, I'm looking in between it. The world is yours, but man, I gotta see it. They say it's hard, but man, I gotta see it. The air I'm breathing can't feel my chest. Wait on life, I wanna hold my breath. I'ma get in my goddamn self.
Pandora Jewelry brings the sparkle to your summer, now with even better prices. Enjoy up to 50% off select styles, from personalized pieces to must-have favorites made for the summer. Timeless designs that shine with you through every moment, wherever the summer takes you. Shop in-store or online, now through July 6. Terms and conditions apply. Visit Pandora.net for details.
This episode is brought to you by Google Chrome. You think you know a browser, but Gemini and Chrome? That's new. It can help you with practically anything on the web, like restoring a vintage motorcycle from a 50-page restoration blog, or finally break down that long article you've had open for weeks. Gemini and Chrome is here for it. Ready to make anything online make sense? There's no place like Chrome. Check responses, setup required, compatibility and availability varies, 18+.
You can't reason with the sun. Trust us, we've tried. This summer, it's time to put that angry ball of fire on mute. Columbia's Omni-Shade technology is engineered to protect you from the sun's harsh rays that can burn and damage your skin. The sun is relentless, but so is our gear. Level up your summer at Columbia.com to spend more time outside and less time slathering on aloe lotion. You're welcome. Columbia, engineered for whatever.
Uncovered windows can make your home feel up to 20 degrees hotter. Stay cool and save up to 45% off custom window treatments during the 4th of July VIP access sale at Blinds.com. From outdoor shades to room darkening blinds, finding the perfect fit is easy. Get free samples, expert design help, and professional measure and install services. Or DIY it with confidence and support every step of the way. Shop up to 45% off site-wide right now during the 4th of July VIP access sale at Blinds.com.
Ignite your taste with new NOS Energy Grand Prix Guava. Foot-to-the-floor energy with high-speed tropical flavor that'll shift you and your day into top gear. So keep your foot on the gas and your hand on the NOS Energy Grand Prix Guava and get after it.